But I know it was last minute, so I want to officially welcome all of you all to the call today. Because what this call is all about is really just trying to get it. What this call is all about is really just about making sure that you all have an opportunity to see what it is that we're doing with the BYOB Academy. So I am Tasha M. Dyer. I am actually hosting, and I want to kind of walk you guys through what we're doing here today. That's what I want to do. And so I just wanted to welcome each and every last one of you guys. And so as you log on, please go ahead and drop it in there, drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. I know some faces are enrolled, some of you all are doing our preview, and I'm just grateful to have you here. But drop it in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. I do see affirmations. And so what you're going to get today is a full walkthrough. You're going to get a walkthrough where I'm going to show you what we do. I'm going to introduce you to our platform, but we're also going to do some analyzation this morning because I wanted to be able to offer that today, right? Wanted to be able to let you guys see what we're doing because our goal is to help you see the market. Our goal is to help you learn the skill set. Our goal is to really help you take advantage of what it is we're doing. And so let me say good morning, Minnesota, good morning, Virginia, good morning, North Carolina. It's more of you guys on here. There we go. There we go, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so we're going to start the way we do every call. We're going to start this call with understanding, hey, Jacksonville, how you doing? I am a BYOB master trader anointed for wealth, right? I am the signal. All my trades end in profit. And that's that belief system that we have to have, okay? We got to operate in a belief system. You know, we have to operate with that mindset, understanding that the market does pay me. The market pays me daily. The market is my best friend, right? This is a skill set. This is something that I have learned. This is something, that I take advantage of, right? This is something that I am in control of. And so I'm welcoming you all. And what I'm going to do is to help me out just a little bit. I'm going to make Miss Tuesday Frederick. She's another educator on our platform. I am actually going to co-host her so she can assist me with monitoring, the entries, people coming in and off of Zoom. We are typically on an internal platform, which is not Zoom. And I do not have to allow you to enter, you come in on your own. But welcome, welcome, welcome. So as you continue to log in, put it in the chat. All right. And this is an open forum, so we do questions. I want you guys to understand that as we navigate, as we walk through. Now, I know if you're new to this, if you've never been on here before, you're not going to be able to just grab what a pip is, what some of the things are on this call. That's what the training is for. But what you are going to be able to do is be able to ask questions. We are open, so we will do our best to get those questions answered for you. So we're going to go ahead and dive in and get started. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen and we're going to get started with that. So give me 1 second. I got to change that tab. But welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So what this is we are actually a trading platform. Okay, we're a trading platform where you learn a skill set, but what we are doing today is the foreign exchange market. Now, that foreign exchange market, okay, it says you can't see my screen. Now, what that foreign exchange market is a market where we actually get to exchange currencies. We're able to profit on the movement of the exchange of those currencies. And that's ultimately what we're doing, what we're walking you through, and what you're learning. Okay. Now, what we do before we even get started in the market is we start with the news. Now, I want to also introduce you to what this call is. This call is what we call a weekly outlook. What that means is, and what we found, is that we want you to be able to trade, right? We want you to be able to understand how to navigate the markets. I want you to be able to understand how to take advantage of what the foreign exchange market offers and the movement. But what we found is that we have much greater success when you understand what's going on. And so the call, that the reason I opened it is we were supposed to have this call yesterday at 11:30, and we were not able to do so. And I wanted to make sure that we were able to do it today. And what we do at the very beginning of every week is we walk through what's taking place. Like, we actually walk through the trades. We walk through getting your eyes trained and understand what's happening in the market. So yes, we do our live calls. We jump in, we take trades, we analyze. But what we found is that when you understand what's happening and you understand the flow of the market, then you make better decisions. You see the market, and it doesn't matter your trading style. You know, that trading style could be where I'm jumping in and out of the trades. That trading style could be where I want to let them sit and let them go because of the way my lifestyle is set up. So it doesn't matter your trading style. What ultimately happens is you're in a position where you can take advantage of what's going on. You're in that position where you can take full advantage of the market. All right. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're offering. So what we first do is see what is happening, what's going on. There's a hierarchy to news. And a big part of what you've seen, if you've studied any markets, not just trading, if you have any investments, no matter what it is the big topic of conversation is interest rates. The interest rates are at the highest that they've ever been. So we've seen a lot of fluctuations in that. Now, what we're noticing today is that our CAD has had some news this morning. That's what we were kind of looking at. We did have a member speak today, but it's not Powell, which is the one that we kind of look for. And then, of course, this evening, there's some NZD red folders. Now, for USD, as we kind of navigate through the week, we will have a few red folders. We will have a few things that is taking place, right? We do have a couple of those things, but you know, we have some red folders on Thursday. And so we do have that. And so we don't trade during that time. We actually monitor that so we can understand what's happening and what really could control the market, like what will give the market its direction. That's ultimately what we're looking for. Now, before we dive to the charts, so we know we had CAD news this morning. Before we dive to the charts, one of the things we look at is what we call a FOREX screener, because this is what we call that weekly outlook. And we're really looking to see where our strengths lie, you know, what's going on. And what we're noticing is that a lot of what's happening right here is our USDs are pretty much have a balanced market. So this call, we focus on our major currency pairs. There is a training within our community that talks about the major currency pairs, the minors, that we've done. That anytime someone enrolls, it's recommended that you go through that training so you can understand that. Now, what you're seeing is these are our majors. Now, why do we follow our majors? Well, on this call for Outlook, once you understand what the majors are doing, then you actually begin to understand what everything else is doing, okay? That's what you begin to understand. And what you're seeing is the USD pairs, those are majors. USD is that major currency. And you notice that you notice that they're kind of much in that going with the where, you know, they're kind of balanced in a sense. So our first currency is AUD USD. The AUD is the base currency. The USD is the counter currency or the base currency. And so that's showing that the USD is weaker because that currency is buying. So the Euro USD was neutral when I looked earlier. It had a strong buy on it. It's going to fluctuate a little bit. The GBP USD has a strong buy. So we pretty much, it's balanced. We're going to go do some analysis, but you know, when I come down here, we're not balanced here. Okay, you see that where my USD is the base currency, then all of this is also showing a buy. So what that says to me, because earlier was a sell, what that says to me is that the market is either not moving, in a sense, like it's got some consolidation, or the market is about to shift some. So these are the things that we walk you through, and we teach you how you can kind of look at these little clues to see what's going on in the market. These should, if what would make it fully balanced is the AUD USD, whatever it is, so whatever USD, if these all were buying, and then when the USD is first, then these would be selling. Okay, so if the USD is the counter, and they're buying, and the USD is first and those are selling, then we have a completely balanced market. Now, we haven't done an analysis yet, but that's pretty much what we would be looking for. All right. So let's jump to our currencies. Now, you do see a chart that's marked up, and the purpose behind the marked up chart is because we've been following this, okay? We've been following this and we walk you through it. What we're looking at first is what we call a DXY. The DXY is actually the US dollar, the strength, right? That's the strength of US dollar. And where I'm gonna go to kind of show you what I mean is I'm gonna jump into our advanced Forex really quickly. And we have some trading materials, some reference here. And when I look at it, kind of explains what the DXY is. So after your enrollment, we do make sure that you have the resources that's needed. And it's consists of the, it's a weighted average of the exchange rates between the US dollar and a selected group of currencies. Once again, the main currency. And so what you're seeing is in those currency, euro makes up almost 60% of that percentage. JPY is the next currency, and then of course our GBP. And these are the currencies that we analyze every week. We go through these currencies each and every single week because I want you to be able to follow them, right? I want you to be able to understand, because this one obviously has a lot of weight. These are the two major currencies, USD and the euro. Those are the two major economies. USD is the main currency. Those are two major economies. That one's a little slow. So that currency moves a little slower, but it's a lot of money because of the economies. Then, of course, the GBP pair has a lot of liquidity. And of course, JPY is right there as well with what's being offered. So just want to make you aware of why we first always look at our DXY. Now, I want you guys to understand the market a little bit, and then I'll kind of drill down a little bit and we'll start some analyzation. Now, why is this important? We do what's called a top-down analysis to help you understand the market. Why is this important? If you've trained with me in the past or you have gone through, one of the things I've always pointed out is the market shifted. The market used to be very smooth and it shifted. Well, what we're considered is what we call retail traders. And the market makers, the market movers are institutions, institutional investors. Now, what they do is they actually, i.e., control the market, right? And they make up the most of the market, but they're also not emotional. They're not emotional at all. They set price, they set target, they execute, that's it. Nothing else to discuss, nothing else to do. They analyze, set, and walk away, right? And that's how they make decisions. And so that's what a an institutional investor is. That's what institutional investments are. So what happens from here is before COVID, pre-COVID, we made up only a very small percentage of this market. What we are is what we call retail traders, and we made up a very small percentage of this market. As a matter of fact, if I have the exact numbers, which I do, if you give me a moment, because I wrote it down, because I like to go back to references, and I know you probably hear the paper flipping. Now, well, we might not be getting it if you give me a minute. So, but let me just give you some so I can keep moving. What we made up in the sense of things was we made up less than 20%. We made up about 10 to 15% of the market, okay? And as a retail trader, which means that what we do really doesn't impact the market at all. So we were very low. Matter of fact, we were 10%. There it is. I found it. We were 10% of the market. So we're a very, very small percentage of the market. And so that's why we used to be able to take a trade, and then profit, bam, I'm good, walk away, make my money. But remember, retail traders, people like myself and yourself, we are more emotional. We are emotional. That's just the reality of who we are. In 2020, during COVID, retail traders jumped up to 25%. So with retail traders being 25% of the market, it does not change the execution of the market, but it does create a little bit more emotion where you want to verify and validate your trades, which means you had to actually understand what you're doing. So if you're trading during this time or looking at it, now you understand why you thought your analysis might be wrong, or why before we used to just trade off strategy and not really understand the market, why we went from making money to not making money. And it's because we did not understand the market. We were just taking trades based on strategy. And so, and then post Corona, it was 20%. So we saw the market starting to, calm back down a little bit. And of course, people thought it was going to go back down to 10 to 15%. But then the stimulus checks came out. And when the stimulus checks came out, that number jumped to almost 25% again. So those, of course, those numbers come from different sources. It's not mine. But we've been able to be very profitable in this market and understand how to take trades because we do what's called a top-down analysis approach. We look at price action and we do structure over strategy, right? So we do a lot of price action in our trading, looking at the structure, where the market's going, what it's doing, because the institutional investors still do the trades, but then we apply structure strategy for confirmation, and that's what we do. So that's why we always start up here. So where we begin, and I'm doing this because we're on this call, and I'm going to move these because I'm not going to go through all of this today, but those are things that we do in class. And what you're going to see is when we start from a monthly top down. Now, why is that? I want you to think about this like an interstate, okay? The interstate, and I like interstate because my background is in logistics. And so we do what's called route planning. And that means I have to have an aerial view. I have to see the terrain. I have to see the lay of the land, right? Even before a road is laid out, you wonder why Amazon can get things to you overnight, or why these things can happen, because there was a top-down approach that took place. Why is it your interstate network, when you're looking at where I want to go, there was a top-down approach that took place. So think about, from my aerial view, I'm on an airplane. When you're on an airplane, you look down and you see the road structure. You see the road network, and you can understand where Interstate 95 starts and where it ends. You can understand, how you can understand, you see the road, but you can't drive on it from that point. So the top down is not for me to take a trade from here. I'm not trying to take a trade. That would be like you looking from the airplane trying to merge. You might be able to see, but you don't know what lane you need to be in. You don't know if this is your exit or not from the interstate, but it gives me an idea of the interstate and where I'm going. So we always start from the top down. And so what happens is I'm going to just jump to the GBP pair because it's going to give me a better view, as I'm looking at it. And if I'm on my monthly on my GBP, what you see is now each candle is a month, but what you begin to see is the actual structure of the market. What is the market doing? Where is the market? Now, I'm not taking a trade from here, but I understand where I am. I understand that, this is an extreme low. So if I was trading and the market came here, or the market gets back up here, I understand that when I drill down, I'm at an extreme low. That would kind of be like if I was on 95 or something, and this might have been Key West, right? This would have been Key West. Now, we know things happen and it can push past it, as it did here. But for the most part, I'm here at Key West, or I'm at the top of 95, somewhere where we had an extreme, right? Obviously, the top will be up here, but somewhere in there, whether it was construction, whatever it was, it stopped me from going. It begins to create my boundaries that I need to be able to operate in. And so then as I begin to drill down within the weekly, I now can begin to create those zones that I want to lay my foundation, right? Those zones where I want to begin to create. And so what you see is our support and resistance areas that we placed on the chart. So now I know that I'm kind of hanging out in between this zone, that this is where the market currently is. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm in this zone. And in this zone, I also have another area that you can kind of see right here that was small. I'm going to just drag it over a little bit. But you can see that in this zone, what we see is an area of support that created a lot of rejection, which means that I'm going to get some rejection here, which now explains why when I looked earlier, we were at a heavy area like where the market was showing, oh, that's a strong buy. This is a strong sell. But now I can see that this is why I got a little bit of resistance in this area right here, as far as what's happening. So I began to drill down to my daily. And so now we start seeing the movement, right? So just picture yourself on that airplane and the market now begin, you start, we're approaching, you're approaching. Like I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. So if I was flying to Jacksonville, that would be as if the market starts to do is descent. And I now begin to see the road just a little bit clearer. And I can start seeing the exits. I couldn't see them when I was in the clouds. I just knew it was an interstate. But now I can start seeing where the market open, like where those exits are, where it curves. Is there a bridge right there? I can start seeing those things, but I'm still not making a decision if I merge there or not. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's what I mean by a top-down approach, which allows us to take the guesswork and the emotion out of our trading. So what you begin to see when I'm on my daily, and I kind of like to come to the 8 hour to get a little bit more clarity in some of those definitions of those. And it kind of gives me a little bit of that fine tune. I can stay on the daily, but I just add the 8 hour. It's not really halfway through the day, but it's almost there. And so what you begin to see, I'm gonna come back up because I want you guys to be able to see this clearly. What you begin to see is what we call a Elliott wave. The market does not move in a straight line. It will never move in a straight line. And what you begin to see is that impulse, right? Then the market always has to pull back, that correction, that's what we call it. Then it moves again. We correct some, it moves again. It pauses, it moves again. So that's really what that is. So the market moves, it pauses, it moves, it pauses, it moves, it pauses, it moves. Okay. So it never moves in a straight line. And you also begin to see that over here. Now, once again, I'm not taking off all my markups. This is what the students and I have been doing every week, kind of building on this as we follow the market. But hopefully, if this is your first time looking at it, you can see what I mean. And no matter what currency I look at, let's look at another one. You begin to see that same thing, right? You kind of see, like if I look at this one, you see the same thing. You see that move up, we pause a little bit. So that's what we call impulse, which is that initial move. We pause a little bit, right? Which we call a correction. The market moves forward again. We correct some. We teach you how to navigate this. The market moves forward. We correct. And it continues to do that same thing. And this is ultimately what we're looking for. We're looking for these beautiful trends, okay? We're looking for the movement because that's what the market does. It goes up, the market goes down, and it moves sideways. I don't want trades when the market is sideways. I don't want trades when the market is sideways. What I want are trades when the market is moving in those trends. And those create beautiful trendy markets that create beautiful profit margins. I'll say it like that. Even though I have to give you the disclaimer that past profit don't guarantee future success. Have to put that plug in there, but that's ultimately what it is, okay? So that's what we're seeing. So now this, where we are, right, that GBP USD, what we discussed when we first looked was us having the market is bouncing around because we're now at an area where we have some rejection, right? We identified this on our higher time frames. I'm gonna pause for the calls. Do I have any questions, comments, or testimonies right now before I go any further? Any questions, comments, or testimonies? No, 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 no. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So what you now see, okay, what we're now looking at is, let's come back over here to our DXY, okay? So now our DXY, if I come back up to our higher time frame, what happens is the market moves in what we call a channel, all right? So this right here, I'm gonna move it, then I'm gonna undo it, is what I just explained, that wave pattern. And so what we do is we put a trend line on there, which you'll learn, And I always call it where I say 1, 2, pull it through. So we always grab it from 1, 2 touches and we pull it through. And so then I'm gonna put that channel, just imagine, right? We're using the same things we identify already. And what we do is the rivers, right? We talked about being on an airplane. Now think about a river. Think about a river. Rivers flow in what we call channels. We learned that in elementary school. And the market does the same thing. So what the market does while it's creating this pattern is it goes up, it creates a high, it pulls back, it creates a low, but this low is higher than the last one. It pulls up, it creates a high, it pulls back, it creates a low. So if I created a low right here, what do you think my next move would be as we begin to understand what this market is doing before we even decide to take a trade? What do you think my next move would be? La da dee. I need the Jeopardy music on here. Is that what I need to get?
High.
Exactly. The next move should be a high. Okay. And so, and there we go. We got some in the chat as well. And so I'm going to delete this because this is where we were looking at it before. That's not relevant to now. So what we're looking for is the market to come back up to the high. And so this is where, right, you see it's rejecting off of this channel. The market respects support and resistance and trend lines. The market respects support and resistance and trend lines. This is a trend line so the channel is made up of a trend line on the bottom and of course a clone line that's actually on the top. So the market is going to respect this area. So what you just heard them say is we were looking for a high, right? We're looking for a high. Now, what does that mean for us right now? That means that the market slowed down because it's rejecting. It's at that support and resistance, that zone that we identified when we were here on our higher time frame. So we identified that this was an area of rejection, which is why we do top down, right? Why we do top down. It identified this area here, and we identified that the market should pull up. So as we begin to drill down, right? As we begin to drill down, we see that we kind of got stuck in the zone. Now, the market, this is what we expect, but we do not execute off of the expectation. We execute off of what the market actually shows us. So what happens is we should expect a buy because we should come out of here. The market should pull up, right? Where this zone is that we identified on the other one. So the market should pull up to about right here. We should get that pullback correction because we're right here on this support resistance. We pull back some. We will come back through and break through here. So think about it. We always got to check to see to make sure so we call it a retest, but a retest is a check to see. And the market is going to do what we do as people, right? We have to check to see. And then it will pull back up, right? And that's how you create that movement. Now, this is once again a dollar index, which means that I'm not trading the dollar index, but it gives me indication of what the market is doing. So what does that mean? That means that wherever the US dollar is, this is why we trade on and look at those major currencies. I want to go find that one chart for you really quickly that I moved to the side. I want to grab this one. So what that ultimately means for you is that it helps me understand how to trade the other currencies. And then we get beautiful trendy markets, okay? So I'm still a little bit higher on my time frame, but what does that mean for us, right? What does that mean? And this is what we really walk through every week, is that right here, if I look at these currencies, so if this goes up, that makes my US dollar what? Somebody help me out. If the market does what we believe is going to do, right? We believe, we do not react off of assumptions. If this goes up, that wait, before you look at a specific currency, if the US dollar index is rising, that makes the US dollar what? Stronger. I see it. If the US dollar is going down, if it is going this way, right? If it is going this way, that makes the US dollar what? Weaker. Exactly. So now when I come back and I look at my currencies, my GBP USD, think about this, is this one right here. If my base currency is stronger, and well, let's say you have a base currency and a counter currency. If my base currency is stronger, then the market buys. If my base currency is weaker, then the market sells, right? I'm sorry, my counter currency is stronger. So in this case, we just said that USD would be stronger if this does what we believe it should do. So if the DXY begins to rise, that makes my US dollar stronger. So if my US dollar is stronger, depending on where it's at, that's what that currency would do. So in the case of GBP USD, USD is my USD. Remember, the USD is strong. So what would we expect that currency to do? We are overall looking for what? Before we even get there, exactly, a sell. Okay, Euro USD, the exact same thing, because USD is strong. It's the second currency, the counter, the quote. That means that now that currency should sell as well. We would be looking for a sell. Same thing, USD JPY, it's first. It is the main currency. So then I would be looking for a buy. And that's how you do those. So let's go ahead and do a side by side just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. All right. Now, do anybody on here that is a guest, because some of you guys are on here. Does anyone on here that is a guest, right? Anybody on here that is a guest, do you have any questions? Any questions? And I want to put this on the dollar. I mean, the day, put it on the dollar. It's got, I don't know why it opens up like this sometimes. As my daughter would say, it don't like me. It don't like me. It doesn't like you. So as I'm looking at this, so I need to be on the 8 hour on this one as well. So as I'm looking at this, okay, now, as I'm looking at this on the 8 hour, right, we haven't marked anything up. But what I kind of want to point out, right, let me see, I got the 15th there, so I want the 15th kind of over here as well. I got the 8 hours, so I want the 15th kind of right there. I got the 5th. This one's a little bit more spread out. So I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. All right, so the 15th, okay. The 15th at the bottom. This one says the 17th, so that means I need to come over here and spread this one out just a little bit more. I'm trying. I'm gonna kind of leave it a little bit. All right, so 15th right there. But really what we're looking at is this, okay? We on the same day right here. So this is really what we're looking at. Now, do you guys see how it almost is like a mirror? Forget all of my indicators and all of my all of my markups. Forget every line, right? So do you see how the DXY was selling and the Euro USD was buying, right? The DXY was selling and the Euro USD was buying, right? So it's almost, that's the one that's almost 60%. So it really is like it's really like a cheat sheet. The DXY is like a cheat sheet to what we're looking at and what we're analyzing. So once we understand that, we know what we're looking at for overall movement in the market. Do I have any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right, so let's come over here and look at what we could possibly trade today. So I'm pausing for questions. Pause. Okay, so really kind of diving in and kind of seeing that. So now what we're looking at, okay, is depending on what happens with the DXY, because earlier this morning, everything gave indication that we would still buy. If I look at that GBP USD, same thing, right? In your analysis this morning probably gave you buy. It probably gave you buy vibes, right? But now when I'm here, okay, we just looked at the DXY and we looked at kind of how it operates within that channel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. We kind of drew these trends. I'm going to get rid of this one just to get, for the sake of training. I'm going to put a channel on here. And we're going to have to adjust my channel because I need it to line up on top of it. You'll learn how to do that in training. I promise you will. You'll be drawing channels here soon. So when I'm looking at this, okay, kind of the same thing. So if this did buy, we would have got to about the top of this channel. But what I want to point out is that we had a very strong rejection over here. So even though we use that as a cheat sheet, we still need to come in and analyze where we are. And so if that DXY, if let's say that dollar gets stronger, okay, if that dollar does go up and it gets stronger, then we would be expecting this pullback right here. And that's what we're looking at right now. So notice that I have not put any indicators on here. I haven't done anything from, haven't done anything from like, putting anything else on here. What I'm doing is just strictly price action right now. All that's price action. And I want you to pay attention, right? Because I hear it all the time. Do I trade on the 15? Am I trade? We're analyzing. I'm going to switch time frames and I want you to tell me, does this move? Now you see it's moving a little bit because that's the natural movement of the market, right? The market does move. I'm on the daily. Numbers are the same, right? I'm on the monthly. My number is the same. I'm on the 30. My numbers are the same. I'm on the 5. My numbers are the same. So it's not about, oh, do I trade off the 5? Do I trade off the 15? Do I trade off the 30? Do I trade off the daily? No, you analyze for entry, you analyze for trading, and then of course you take trades from there. Because this doesn't change. So it's just like that interstate. Now I analyze for entry on my lower time frames. I analyze for entry on my lower time frames. So just go back to that same interstate. If I was on the interstate, once again, if I'm on the airplane, I cannot navigate. Can I get over right now? Is somebody in my blind spot? You're doing 80 miles an hour down the highway. I think I want to be able to be on a lower time frame to really be able to look over my shoulder, even though we got all this technology. Unless you got the car my sister just bought, they actually got a rear view camera. So when you put your blinker on, it shows you right there in the dash your blind spot. And so, but probably still look over my shoulder. So you got the little flashing light on the mirror, you have all of that. I want to see all of that. I want the dashboard camera. I want to know if you're I want the flashing light on my rear view camera. I want to be able to look over my shoulder and see, just to get that confirmation, is somebody on my left or to my right, right? You want to be able to do those things because that keeps you out of trouble. It keeps you out of an accident. It keeps you from hitting your stop loss, okay? So that's what you want to be able to do. That's why we analyze for entry lower time frame. So we know where we are, right? So we're at a decision point right here. We're at a decision point. We understand that this was a heavy rejection area to our left. We understand where our DXY is at. And so now I'm again to put a few indicators on here, right? We want to confirm. 2 indicators I use is the 50 SMA and the 200. They're not giving me those same vibes. They're not giving me the same vibes as, so they're giving me vibes that we're going to be buying, which means that US dollar would be weaker. That's what they're giving me. So that 50, right? That 50, you notice that I want you to look at something. And of course, it's got to turn around. So don't believe that it's 100%. That's why indicators confirm your analysis, and we don't analyze from an indicator. What it's giving me is that my blue line, which is my 200 moving average, which is 200 of the past candles, is giving me the fact that this was the buy. Look at this. Look at where my 50 is, my 50-day moving average. So when these are aligned, when we get that nice, beautiful cross, when they're in alignment, you notice we had nice, beautiful buying markets. And then they, of course, they cross. And when they cross, that blue line crossed back over, we had a nice sell. And now you're starting to see some curve here. So once again, if I go back to my screener, right, we had a mixed market. Some of the things were mixed and they were turning around. What you analyzed this morning was for a buy. What we just looked at on the DXY gave us indication that it's in a channel, and that in this channel that it could be rising, right? That in this channel it's rejecting and it could rise. We have to wait to see, because this is what we analyzed. This is what it looked like it was doing, and that analyzation is correct. But let's say it breaks this channel. Let's say it keeps going. We would have to confirm that. So that means that this market will come down, it will come back and retest, and then it will sell, okay? It's not just going to bust out of there and keep going. It will come out, it's going to retest, and it will keep going, which is why when we come back over here and we look at this, why it's kind of slowed down right now, because it's waiting on to see what's going on. But everything that we look at from here gives us indication we should buy, right? So it's giving us indication. Now this rejection give me indication this could sell. So you notice that in this area from this 8 hour, now we've got some indecision over the last couple hours. So it's like it came up here, rejected, it pushed through a little bit. We didn't get a lot of sell momentum here. So we got quite a bit. Look at this indecision on this 8 hour candle. This is some indecision right here. So are we going to buy? Or are we going to sell? Are we going to sell? Are we going to buy? Only time will tell, but you're going to be ready for it. And we're not making emotional decisions. This is where your success comes in. We understood what happened from the higher time frame. We understand we're in a channel. We understand that the market is at a decision point. We understand that, you know, we should be selling based on what we saw in DXY, but now we have to wait to see, does it break the channel or does it keep going? This is where the patience comes in. And you don't have to sit at the computer all day. You don't. We set alerts and reminders, okay? We set alerts and reminders. So I'm going to put one at the top and I'm going to put one at the bottom, right? Because what that tells me is that when it triggers that alert, we come back in, right? We come back in for a trade. I begin to continue to drill down. That's quite a bit of, and this is an indecisive candle. That's what we have right there. I drill down and I'm going to let Miss Tuesday tell you, guys, what it is, because I know you're learning candles on her class, right? So, you know, look at the indecision and the movement in the market over the last couple hours. We were just on an 8 hour candle. We just extended this to the 1 hour. And now you can see the indecision. So what we understand, the market does what? I just told you guys, the market does what? Somebody help me out.
Moves up, down, or sideways.
Exactly. Exactly. We want to trade when? Come on, you
When
want
trending.
exactly. When it's going up or down, when it's trending. Have you ever talked to an indecisive person? Have you ever talked to somebody who cannot make up their mind? I got it. What'd you have for breakfast? What did you guys do for dinner last night? That's probably the most indecisive time of my life. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. I want this. I don't want that. I want this. No, you don't, because I don't want that. We had that last week. But what do you want? Well, I don't know what I want. You know, and how does that conversation go for the next hour? Right? How long does it take you to make a decision to eat? We're talking about financial decisions right now. So if you've ever talked to somebody, right? If you've ever talked to somebody that is indecisive, just imagine, don't get in the market when it's indecisive. And that's actually the situation that we have right now, is a little indecision. But for the sake of training, let's look right here. We're going to focus right here. We're going to focus our time because we don't have a trade right now. We don't. We have some indecision. And we're going to let them make up their mind, and then we're going to go with them. So whenever the market makes up its mind, then we'll go with them. That's why we just set some alerts. So when the market makes a decision, then we'll trade. But for the sake of trading, for the sake of training, let's just say we were here. All right. Let's just say we were in this area. So what I'm seeing is I'm going to turn off those moving averages that we had on, because as I begin to drill down, now I want my 10 and 20. So this is what we're seeing right here. All right. I see this movement. I see this right here. So this is where strategy comes in. This is where strategy comes in. So now I know, and this is where your trading style comes in. Do you let trades sit? Are you intraday? What are you? but we would have been able to take a trade from here. So as I look, right, and I begin to see, now you start seeing me add indicators back to my chart. So I know where I'm at in the market, and I know if I'm ready to merge to the left, to the right, what exit I'm taking. Do I get on the interstate right here? What do I do? So I noticed that I had that blue line cross over the red and the upward momentum. So I'm using my stochastic, right, that upward momentum. Also, I'm looking at Japanese candles right now. I do not analyze. I make this bigger because I don't need all of the extra anymore. I don't need to see the big picture anymore. I don't need to see the aerial view. I want to know if you're in my blind spot. I want to know I want to know if it's a traffic jam. I want to know because right now, honestly, we are in a traffic jam. I sat on the bridge yesterday for 1 hour because of an accident. But if I would have pushed the issue, if I would have pressed the issue, I'd have been in that accident with those people. Like, if I'm trying to make you get over, if I'm trying to make you get out of my way, no, you're gonna sit there on that bridge and wait for the tow truck to come move those cars. It was a 5-car pileup. And I'm sitting on the bridge. You can't go nowhere on the bridge, but just sit there and enjoy whatever you're listening to or call somebody. Okay? An hour. And that's what's happening right now. Patience, patience, profit. Patience, 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 right? And so that's what we had to do. But if I'm here, okay, then I know we have movement. So the market moves up my stochastic, okay? Now, I do not analyze with the indicator, which is why I have Japanese candles. But I'm going to actually change this to Hikanashi candles now, because this is where my trend candle is, right? That's where that is. I have my PSAR, and now I'm gonna drill down. I'm in a fluent market, right? I know that I got indicator. I know I have momentum where I'm going for that buy. That's what I'm looking for. And as I continue to drill down, because I want those indicators, right? I want everything in alignment. I want to know what's happening. What I see is that I had opportunity for a trade. So right here, okay, and we're going to grab this little arrow. Right here is where we would have been able to enter our trade. And this is why we've been so profitable. And I got a testimony, and I'm gonna just call you out because I love you. Got a testimony from Craig earlier this week, and we in 2024, and even in this market, he's at 100% of his trades this year, 100%. And I love it because he said, but I only hit one stop loss. He said, I accepted the 12-month wealth challenge, but I hit one stop loss. But he didn't. He did, but he didn't. Let me explain. He learned how to move his trade and profit, and because he was like, I only made $18 because it hit my trailing stop. Well, he got stopped in profit, so he still didn't lose a trade. It pulled back, and he's at 100% technically still. But even the testimony of losing one trade is not a loss because he stopped in profit. So imagine 2024 taking a top-down analysis approach, doing a 12-month wealth challenge, because you take the time to analyze these trades and being 100% in profit. And based on your lot size, which you learn in our basics class, based on all of that, this trade alone was about a 50 pip profit. This trade alone, by understanding what we're analyzing and teaching right now, because you would not have pushed past that area over there to our left. So that's where we are. We are at exactly. Congratulations, Craig. I love it. So what we are, right? If you're looking at this, okay, is we're at indecision, and we're going to wait. We're going to wait. All of our USD pairs are waiting on this. It's waiting on this, and we're going to wait. But I just walk you through what you would do if you were going to, if it was ready. So we set the alert, and when the alerts go off, we come back and analyze, and then we take the trade, right? We come back and analyze and take the trade. Do I have any questions of where we are right now? And then, of course, I'll touch on NAS for just a minute, because we do have individuals that are trading BRIA. We did a really deep dive and a detailed overview last night, but I'll touch on that as well because I want to make sure we cover that. Any questions? All right, no questions. Okay. So everybody. So let's go look at the NASDAQ. All right, I'm gonna switch back to my Japanese.
You must be doing good. Ain't no question.
Well, thank you. All right, so what we are with our NASDAQ, all right, is what we talked about, and we went through this in detail last night. So for those of you all who are enrolled, if you did not join us last night, go back and watch last night's call. It was on a Trade Buddy call. It was on a Trade Buddy call, so you know what recording you're looking for. We really kind of went into this. So what we know is that our NASDAQ has never been this high before, and we know we had a nice breakout. Now, what I do want you guys to know, you notice that we had some pullback this morning, okay? We definitely had some pullback. And what we know is, let me come back up here, is that anytime we have a breakout, remember, you guys have heard me before say I don't trade breakout. Anytime we have a breakout, the market is going to correct itself before it does anything else. And so that's what you hear was called closing the gap. And so if you're looking, right, it created a resistance area and the market came back and closed the gap. So it had the breakout, but the market had to close the gap, which means that it sold a lot. That buy pushed the market up. And then that push up, it sold. It sold. All right. It sold. And so it had to sell some things, right? It had to buy some things to get some more buyers involved, some more momentum to push through the next zone. And so that's the understanding behind it. But if you just remember, it has to come back and close the gap. So we broke out, we created the resistance, the market pulled back, and now it's pushing back out through that next zone. And so we want to know where it's going. I'm going to put my traditional pivots on there. We talked about this last night. We're coming up here. All right. What I do like about this is I like the gap between the pivot and the R1 now. My gap is increased. Also, my pivot point jumped significantly. My pivot point is the center point of the market. So this is my pivot area. My pivot area jumped significantly. That means that you should be looking for buys. The market is going to buy. All right. This is going to go up. It is going to buy. And it did create another area right here. So we're going to respect these areas. Okay. If the market tells me something, I'm going to listen to it. It gave me an area right here of support and resistance. So now you have to pay attention because it's a creation of support and resistance. There's nothing up there. My pivots come from the market activity of the past, and that's how they're calculated. But where we are right now is the market pushed up and it had a nice push up, and then it pulled back again. It pulled back. And so once again, it closed that gap. And so as it's closing that gap, right, you notice that it kind of came to where the support and resistance area is. If you can kind of see that it did kind of close that gap a little bit. And so it pushed up, it came back, it closed that gap, and now we're up here. And so it's starting to push, but we're going to push. So if you're taking these trades individually, then you're probably in profit, but I want you to do a take profit around here, okay? I want you all to do a take profit around here, or as it passes this area, then you're going to do a trailing stop. What we just talked about, you're going to move your stop loss up in profit, okay? So you're going to do that, and we're still teaching and talking like what we're supposed to do yesterday was get a little bit deeper in that risk reward ratio. That'll be coming. Next Monday is Memorial Day, so we won't be looking at drop paint on the wall. We won't be doing a call on that day. But what you can see is, the market's going to come up here, but this is where that R1 is, and this is ultimately where we're coming to. This is where the market's ultimately coming to. That's where it's at. So that, I'm looking at that area up there, for that take profit. That's what I'm looking for. But of course, I'm going to trail my stop, right? I'm going to be in profit. So your BRIA account should be buying, and you should be able to take personal trades as well. Any questions or comments? And we're using a broker. For those of you all who might have been with us in the past, we're using brokers that now offer mini accounts, mini asset accounts, which means that you can trade this too. It's not just moving at $1 a point. So you can actually come in and trade this too. This is one of my favorite currencies to trade on top of what my BRIA does as well. And so I love the fact that now everybody can join us. So any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? And I'm gonna do a quick walkthrough of the academy. Any for those of you all who aren't enrolled right now. Any questions or comments? All right. Y'all like loving this call today, right? So let's do a quick walkthrough real quick because I want to familiarize everybody with what we're offering. So this is what we call our wealth community. We now operate here. This is what we call our wealth community. And we pretty much have 2 packages, technically 3, but one is for an experience. One of the packages, you must be an experienced trader. I do not want you to enroll in that package unless you are an experienced trader. So if you're at our wealth community, this is pretty much like, this is a Facebook, this, well, thank you. This is a Facebook in a sense, but it's a wealth book, right? This is a BYOB book. And so we have our wealth community, and in this community, we definitely have a tutorial on what's featured as pinned on how to navigate, and then of course the packages. Now I'm going to actually come in here and I'm going to show you what those packages are. So first and foremost, we have our package that includes BRIA, and this is $275 a month. There is no enrollment fee on top. It's just $275 a month. That is your subscription. And so what happens with this one is you get a 3-day free trial. And what that 3-day free trial does is allows you to get those broker accounts set up. It allows you, because you're going to need a different broker than the traditional brokers that we're accustomed to using, because we want to put it on a broker that does have the many assets, so we can maximize our profits. And so NVFX and PlexiTrade I'm liking so far. I have not put my BRIA on that one, but those are 2 of the brokers that we're utilizing for this service. Now, where we are right here is you can see the BRIA. You can see everything that you get with that. You're also going to have access to the mental toughness. Every training that we offer, we do have trading buddies, so you actually get paired with someone if you want to participate in that, where you hold each other accountable, you learn together, you take trades together, you show up together. As you probably saw, one of the comments was, let's go trading buddy, okay? We've had some significant success with our trading buddy program in a short time that we've had it, but you get access to all of this, plus the BRIA 2.0, which is an expert advisor that does trade for you. If you just want to participate in the education, then that is the $150, and you get everything with the exception of the BRIA 2.0. You do have access to the mental toughness and every education course that we offer. It's no basics, intermediate, advanced, and none of that. It's just education and an expert advisor, okay? Now, if you are an experienced trader, there is a BRIA professional, but once again, if you are not an experienced trader, this is not the plan for you. This is the BRIA professional. You get access to everything. And once again, of course, the BRIA, but you trade on top of it with BRIA. This is where it's no longer just set it and forget it, because that's what BRIA is. BRIA is a set it and forget it product. So just to kind of show you a little bit of what we kind of walk through inside of our trading academy, you're going to see we've got some courses that really kind of help get you started, like what is Forex, candle anatomy, calculating pips, how to enter a trade, some broker information, changing that out because some brokers have changed for different reasons, risk management, things that we want to make sure that you are familiar with. We do have our trading buddy group, just kind of started that one. You'll see a lot of things that are being posted. Actually, no, he did post in there because we just started the group. Change this group over, and you'll see, you see an update, right? So our students, people that are enrolled, they actually come in, they analyze, they take trades, right? This is what your story will be. This is what you'll be able to do as we navigate. So we have an update that's in there. We definitely encourage it. So the AUD CAD, the chart, we had some CAD news this morning. So I'm loving this, right? Different indicators that do the confirmations, as you can see. Now, remember, you see all the activity that you see? Now, remember that between his trade buddy is Alyssa, so she's right there with him. I'm not going to leave her hanging or leave her out. But I do want to make sure that you guys understand that this is the person that is at 100% right now. And so you definitely can see the activity. So the engagement that's there, you know, he made the decision that this is what I'm going to learn. This is what I'm going to do. And so we have all of the information there that you need. In our advanced Forex as well, right? In our advanced Forex, you definitely see where I always come in, right? We talk about it, we drop it, we analyze it. You see people find their favorite currencies. You see our BRIA. All right, I want to show you the BRIA group real quick. All right, in our BRIA group, tongue twister, in our BRIA group, hold on. Sorry about that. Did not want to cough in your ear. But in our BRIA group, everything you need for your success is here, right? So we have our getting started, set up your account. We have some videos, right? When you see the videos, how to install it, how to do your monthly file updates, you know, adding Telegram to your desktop. Whatever you need, it's all here. We're going to support you, right? You have support. This is not a get enrolled and good luck, okay? You have support. So everything you need is there. And so the success is there, right? So we do have some advanced strategy sessions that we've done. Once you navigate it, you get accustomed. So everything that you need for your success is going to be in there. And then, of course, I want to highlight the mental toughness, because mindset is very important. Mindset is critical to success. Mindset is very important. And so you'll see that we have Tony Flemings, and I kind of want to highlight who he is. He's been very successful in this space for quite a while. And you can see he's helped people make over 50 million in gross sales. He's gotten 30 plus years of experience in personal development. So, you know, we do a book. And I want to be clear. Right now, the price is the price. Your subscription is a subscription. You know, the subscription is a subscription. So I just want to make sure that you're there. And then we also have wealth planning, and that tab would be back up there. You're losing audio. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But that's really all I have. I want to encourage you guys to connect into our community and to get enrolled. So do we have any questions or comments, right? Any questions or comments before we close out for today? Any questions or comments? And I also want to give Tuesday Frederick. She's an educator on the platform, phenomenal individual. She does morning education with the movement. And so, but I want to, if she has anything she wants to add, I want to give her opportunity to speak as well.
Thanks, Ms. Dyer. The one thing that I wanted to ask you, we were doing we're identifying the engulfing bearish or bullish engulfing candles or pattern. I was asking the students to post it. Can you show in the community where they do it and how to? For some reason, I just didn't have those action steps at the time when I was working with them. So if you'll say that.
All right. So where you go, if you're going to post it. So actually, if you're gonna have them interacting, then we could change this back and just use the we can change this back to the beginners, because if they're going to be doing that to kind of keep it separate, we can put this back as the beginners section and allow the trading buddies to use that academy. But so I'll change this back, because this is where those things were, because I want to make it as clear as possible. This is, you guys would just come post. Like, you notice that before you get the red folders, but the beginning, if you have them engaging and doing beginner activity, then they would just come and it'll say beginners group. I'll change that to beginners, and they'll just come in here and they'll just like come share what's on your mind, just like you do on Facebook, and post it right here. And I let the trading buddy be in a trading academy thing where they just share, because that's really what I'm doing. So we can just do that. All right. All right. So, all right, guys. Well, awesome. Anybody else have any questions, any comments, anything that you want as we get ready to close out? Because I do see some individuals on here that are not enrolled. So I just want to make sure, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that you guys have complete access. Definitely looking forward to working with you all. And for those of you all who are enrolled, I'm looking for your continued success. Once again, thank you for the awesome training. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the feedback. Questions, comments, testimonies, and are you guys ready to get enrolled? Are we ready? 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 You have a much better understanding. Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to working with you. Definitely excited. And you're gonna rewatch it. That means I gotta post it, right? So I'm looking forward to working with you, Marcello. Definitely looking forward to it, because definitely. All right. So you too, Staley, you on here still? You too, and then yeah. And also I see a mic, so I don't doesn't have a name next to it, so I'm gonna go ahead and be quiet.
It's Lila.
How
I'm
you
not
doing?
showing up, but I attended the whole class, but my name, I'm not showing up anywhere. I don't know why.
No, I saw you, but it doesn't have your name. It's like KI2A, so I didn't know who it was.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
All
All right, I
right.
see me next to it.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Great
well,
class.
well, thank you. I appreciate your feedback. So awesome, guys. Awesome. All right. Well, I love you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is Apostle. I'll hit you later. I guess I got a setting wrong because I'm not getting no sell stops on real, but I guess I maybe hit Ron or either Babe, whichever one. I don't know.
Okay.
Are they traveling today?
They all Ron was on vacation. Babe is going back to Dubai, and Michelle is going to visit Dubai. So everybody, but either way, they still are, they connect, and so we'll
Okay.
get it taken care of.
All right.
All right. Well, love you much, guys, and I look forward to working with you. So yes, let's go ahead and take advantage of that 3-day free trial. Let's get set up. Whether you just want the academy where you get all of the education, or you want to include that expert advisor, you set it, forget it, and let it trade for you. All right. Let it trade for you and let it move you in profit. All right. So it's been working very well for many of us on this platform, and we do a weekly call in support of that as well. All right. Love you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and officially conclude this call.